you?
I am pretty good.
Been a
You?
minute. I'm good.
It has been a minute. You're right.
Like we miss 1 week, and it's like, oh my god, it's been forever.
It does kind of feel that way. Definitely does.
And then you're pressuring me because I'm not ready on time.
Are you ever ready on time?
Damn. Damn.
You gotta get more, what's the word? Punctual.
Wow. Feel like this is unnecessarily mean.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
I'm sorry, Cupcake.
All right, I suppose I earned.
Ooh, look at this. I like this sketch. Looks angry. Angry He-Man.
It is. It's an homage to an old comic book cover that I'm gonna leave and see if anyone can kind of guess what it's to. Like, oh my god, you're doing a version of this.
Mm-hmm.
Someone saying, "What is up? Hello, how's it going?"
I'm gonna pull these up because I just realized that I haven't pulled up the chat.
Oh, there you go. See, I might be behind, but you're failing.
Oh, no. This is not on me. Nice try.
Wow.
Nice try.
Nice try.
Everybody knows the truth.
Really?
Yeah. So, how was your holiday week?
Sorry, apparently I can't think and talk at the same time for a minute. I'm like,
That's okay.
my
Take
holiday.
your time.
Yeah, right. You're like, easy there, Cupcake. My Thanksgiving was fine. I spent it with family, like most people.
Uh-huh.
And then I took a little road trip, as you know.
Yes. That actually looked really badass. Lots of snowy mountain scenery
Yeah,
and a cool like holiday celebration in a small town, you said?
that was just luck that it just happened to be going on. My friend that I was with, we were just kind of like checking out town, and we're like, "Wait, what's this? Something's going on!" And did a little investigating, and just a little small town holiday celebration. I'm like, "All right, well, now we got something specific to watch," and it was really neat. I'm actually completely serious. Like, I would go back there again next year to see it again, like that little holiday celebration.
Oh wow, that good, huh?
I would go back and see it again, and just because it was, I don't know, as lame as this sounds, it was kind of magical. It really was.
It's not lame. That's awesome.
Because I know I sent you pictures of it.
Yeah, it looked great.
Like, it's crazy how picturesque and fun this is.
Right. Yeah, that's what it looked like to me. I'm like, this looks like something like you had even said out of a movie.
Yeah. I'm like, this is weird.
It's like you're in a Hallmark film.
Mr. D-Man, what is up, sir? Someone saying also, thanks for the
Hope
shout.
you had a good Thanksgiving too. Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving.
No, you don't want that. You hope everyone had a bad Thanksgiving.
Okay, shut up.
Okay, shut your hole up.
Shut your whole mouth.
Right.
I would never, ever wish bad holidays on anyone. Well, maybe not anyone, but
There's at least one person on this planet, you'd probably be like, you know what? I hope that person had a miserable holiday.
Mhm.
Or
That's
at least if they did, you'd be like, oh, that's unfortunate.
but I wouldn't mean it, you know?
All right. She say so.
But no, that's awesome. I thought that was pretty cool when you sent me that.
Yeah, I wanted to take that scenic trip up those mountains, but I'm like, God, I don't know because it was supposed to snow, which it did, and taking my
Yeah, there
friend.
was so much snow.
Yeah, but the roads were. I mean, it's a trip up the mountains, and so it's pretty. It can be pretty sketchy. But I'm
Yeah.
like, well, we'll just get started and see if we can make it up the mountain, and we'll see what the hell happens. And it turned out to be like perfect. There's some of the pictures we took were like, even my friend, she was just like, oh my God, this is like so picturesque, so beautiful up here. Like, this is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
I know how to show a gal a good time. I know. I'm awesome.
Wow, really just giving yourself props there out of nowhere.
I mean, it seemed like the thing to do.
It did seem like a fun trip. And it was for her birthday, right?
Her birthday was on Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Well, I was going to tell you. So I have not finished your book yet.
Bitch, that's it. I'm out of here.
I know. I really am, though. I don't know why you even talk to me anymore. But I actually decided because I was trying to sit down and read it and I couldn't focus. I just am really struggling being able to focus on. I've got all of this art I'm supposed to be doing. This one is actually for my niece. And I did one. Let me just throw this out here. I did one for her that was completely different back this summer, and I didn't like it. It wasn't really me. I was trying to copy one that someone sent me. And so I decided I'm just going to do, she is really funny because she's really a girly girl. She's 5, but she also is a tomboy at the same time somehow. And she loves dinosaurs and unicorns. And so she wants a dinosaur and a unicorn together above her bed on our wall, but she wants them to be pink and purple and green and all this stuff. Anyway, so I decided I'm just gonna do one of my own version. So I've been meaning to do that forever. So that's why this is happening. But no, I'm like, you know what I'm gonna do? So I actually packed it in my hospital bag because I will probably end up at least being there at least one night by myself.
Yeah,
And I never watch TV in the hospital rooms. I kinda like it to be just kinda quiet, especially when I'm trying to get a newborn baby to just stay asleep for a little bit.
right.
So I'm like, I'm gonna read the entire thing while I'm in the hospital because I never think about to bring anything like that and have any kind of, like, book entertainment. And so I thought this would be perfect. I'm gonna read it in the hospital,
Well, there you go.
and then I'll give you the review when I'm done. I was like, "This actually would be great."
All right. That's fair.
No, I really did, like, I told my husband, I was like, "I'm gonna pack this in my bag, and then when I'm not being bothered by any of you people, I can I can read it."
So you've got your hospital bug out bag ready to go just in case.
It's pretty ready. Um, it's funny, I actually don't have the baby clothes washed, but I'm doing that today. I don't know. I'm the worst at getting ready for these things, but yeah, I thought about it today. I only have a couple weeks now, so
Yeah, you're gonna pop anytime soon, aren't you?
definitely feel like it. You said you've got Courtney lined up to do the lives with you, right?
Well, she said before it's been a minute since she said she'd be willing to, but I haven't brought it up to her since. But I hope she wants to.
Yeah.
I mean,
I remember her saying she thought that would be cool. So
yeah, yeah.
That'll be fun. Be
We'll have,
pretty sweet.
we'll have
Yeah,
we can
I love.
survive without you.
I'm sure you'll make it just fine. Yes, and I feel like when it so I typically do this. I do a lot of art as gifts for people, and I don't know if people like it or not though. Because Mark is saying, "That's awesome. Handmade gifts are the best gifts." I never know if they're just like, "Oh, thank you," and then it goes home and sits in a closet. You know, I
Right.
don't.
But like, Christ, this is what I got. Now I have to like act like I love it. And
Yeah, exactly. I never know. I never know.
I've never done artwork as like an unannounced gift. Like, oh my God, I totally did this thing for you. Um, Back some years ago when I was married, I used to like every approach to holiday season, I'd put out on Facebook. I'm like, hey, anybody want some commissions, some artwork for, some people like, oh, I'd love a picture of my grandfather who passed or something like that. Or
Yeah,
I used to kind of do pretty well like that, but I haven't done that in a long time because I don't know.
just not something that you have a lot of time for. Well, you're trying to do an entire book in a year, so.
Yeah, I mean, I do have stuff to do. Oh, exciting thing, sort of. I mean, um, that happened recently. Um,
Mhm.
I've done a couple reviews of these books called Ghost Agents,
Yeah.
and uh, I did some artwork that I was also promoting when I was on my Facebook and stuff like that. I was promoting that there was a Kickstarter for the next one that they're doing because I've got some pages in it,
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
and they did a Kickstarter and it was successful, and I did these pages for these guys literally. I can't remember if it was November of last year or December of last year. So basically a year ago. And then they just, about a month ago, the Kickstarter was done and completed. But I got paid for those pages. So it's kind of like the first time I've ever been paid for work that's going into a book. You know,
Wow.
I got $600.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I'm not going to say I forgot about it. I was like, it'll happen. And I didn't think it would take this long, but they had to push it off because of timing and all this type of stuff. But they were true to their word. Once the Kickstarter was complete, everyone that was part of it, you know, um, they hit us all up and like, all right, guys, we got the money from the Kickstarter. Just send us an email and you get paid. And then boom, I got my cash within 20 minutes of confirming it. So I'm like, oh, this is kind of a first.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, Mark, dude, I guess, yeah, you said you're officially a pro now. I mean, I guess in a way, I know that some people have like, that's their kind of, you know, it's kind of a way of like, you're a professional, you got paid for work that's getting
Right.
printed done. So I'm like, I guess. So that was awesome. That was fun to, I did take the gig because they were saying, hey, we'll pay $100 per page. I'm like, all right, I can do this. So I stopped working on my He-Man book and did
Uh-huh.
these pages about a year ago. And so
Wow.
it was kind of fun. I was like, oh, right. All right. I got paid. This is great.
That is awesome. Well,
Now that
congrats
I'm
on
rich, spend it on Coke and whores, which is what I always dreamed of doing when I got paid a lot of money.
that.
But it's all about proportionate spending. So I don't know how much $600 is going to get me with cocaine and whores, but
I mean, it just
probably.
depends on, your threshold of what exactly you're wanting. You get maybe not the best cocaine and maybe not the best looking whores. So,
Oh, I probably get a whole bunch of cheap whores for that, like cracked out homeless. So I could have a whole harem if I wanted, or I
Isn't
could
that
get.
the line in Wolf of Wall Street? I don't know, I haven't seen it in a while, but doesn't he say something about we quickly realize that the more money you spend, the better the prostitutes are or whatever?
I've only
Something
seen
like
that movie one time and I really liked it, but I don't remember. But I'm sure it was something just like that. That's funny.
I can't remember. Again, I've seen it like twice. But
You know, it's funny that just randomly reminds me. I dated this girl some years ago who had lived a pretty wild life. She had been a exotic dancer, we'll call it. Another way to call it is a stripper. And so
Mhm.
we dated for about a year, and she kind of tell me about some of the shit she'd done in her life. And she's like, "Are you sure you want to hear this? Because I've had some fucked up shit in my life." I'm like, yeah, well, now that you say it that way, now I have to know.
Yeah.
So she would tell me some shit. And she's like, she's like, "I've done cocaine once or twice." And she's like, "I would never do it again."
Mm.
But she's like, "Having sex while high on cocaine was the greatest thing I'd ever done in my life." I'm like,
Oh,
"Really?"
oh wow.
I know. That's what I was like, "Really?" And I'm like, "That's nothing I have any interest in trying." Like, being for real, I'm not one of those people like, "Oh my god, I need to know what that's like." I have no interest. But I can't help but be like, "But what would that be like?" It's like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's supposed to feel amazing, but I have no interest in chasing that just to see what it's like and do something really fucked up. But what would
Yeah.
that be like? So I don't know.
That is kind of hilarious,
Yeah.
actually.
And she had some wild stories to tell. She's like, um, she's like, "I've long since lost count of how many people I've been with." I'm like, "Damn." She's like, "One time I was on an elevator and it I was just there's this like cute dude in the elevator, and the elevator, like in a movie, just got stuck. It just like stopped and we had to wait." And so she's like, I just kind of looked at
No.
like I just she was like, "I was wearing a skirt, so I just reached up and pulled my underwear down." And then I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Oh yeah, we just fucked." I was like, Jesus. I
What?
know. She's like, "Are you sure you want to hear this?" I'm like, "Well, like I said, now I gotta know." And we're still friends to this day. I still chat with her on occasion.
Oh my gosh. Mark is like 5 minutes ago, they were just talking about art gifts and unicorns. And
Now I'm
now
talking about
Rob's talking about strippers and
banging
past.
cocaine. And
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep y'all entertained, and for real, everything I'm saying is true. Like, this is all true stuff. I am not making this up.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
I know you've talked about her before. It sounds hilarious, honestly. Sounds like a good time. I mean, let's be real. Uh, oh, that's true. Someone saying you're not thinking this through. First, you get the Coke, it'll attract the guests.
See, this is what I'm saying. I don't know how this shit works.
That's so funny. He's not wrong.
No
No.
need to pay, he says. Oh man. See,
Uh,
I heard a joke recently. Let me see if I could say it right. What's the best thing about a hooker dying on you?
I don't know.
The second hour is free.
Oh my gosh. That's pretty bad, but also pretty good.
And remember, when they're alive, they're call girls. When they're dead, they're hookers.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Wow. That's funny. At least I think so.
D man, you say you scanned your He Man art into your laptop? Well, I want to see it, man. I want to see all your artwork that you do. I see you posted on the YouTube page. I want to see it.
It's pretty sweet.
What did you do for your holiday Thanksgiving stuff? No picturesque scenic drives like me?
Nah, that didn't happen.
Nah.
Um, no, it was your pretty typical Thanksgiving, I'd say, where we did Thanksgiving Day, we went to the in-laws, house, and there were some family who had come up from New Mexico who we hadn't seen in years, like years. So that was kind of fun. And then, sorry if this is making a lot of noise, but this is a big canvas. Well, it's fairly big. It's like a 20 by 16. Um, ooh, I see. See, I won't know. I won't know this comic book cover or anything, but this looks really cool. These faces we got going here.
It's like a centered figure, and then all these faces kind of surrounding. I'm curious if anybody in the chat will recognize the basic layout.
Yeah, that's what you were saying. I'm like, I obviously don't know, but I can recognize it's neat looking. Um, but yeah, we did Thanksgiving at the in-laws, and then we did because I had my eldest daughter. She was here. Oh my, I'm sorry. Can you guys hear my child crying?
I heard something.
He's not pleased right now about something. I don't know what, but he's outside my door. Um, but we had her because she was at her mom's for Thanksgiving. So we got to have her over that following weekend. And we did another Thanksgiving dinner that I made, which was probably the laziest Thanksgiving dinner ever. Everybody was teasing me because the gravy was packets. Oh, Mark is guessing cable. He's seen this pose before.
I'm trying to decide how I. I'm going to hold on and see if anyone else has any guess before I confirm or deny. I'll get back to you on that one.
But I had, yeah, so everybody's kind of teasing me because I just did packet gravy. And I'm like, you know what? I am 9 months pregnant. I am doing the best that I can. So
I'm doing.
it's gonna be a lazy one.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and I actually hate being stressed out on the holidays. I actually nobody freak out at me. I don't usually like Christmas as an adult very much because I feel super stressed out around Christmas.
Why is that?
I just feel like trying to get for when you have kids at least, trying to get all the presents together and make sure that everything's, presents for family members. It's mostly just the getting all the gifts. And I can't do cards. I just can't do all of it. It just stresses me out. And I feel like I'm just not when it's Halloween, I thrive in Halloween. I love Halloween. I always have cool costumes. I don't make them, but they always have cool costumes. I feel like, I really can get into Halloween. There's not too much that I have to do, but I really struggle with Christmas and I don't want to feel that way, but I just always end up feeling that way. So,
That makes sense. I will have to say that Christmas, as you know, now that I've been divorced and single and on my own for about 5 years now, I much prefer Christmas now as opposed to before because I grew up not celebrating Christmas because of my mom's religious beliefs, and so once I get older, I'm like, this is a stressful pain in my ass, and finding gifts for the wife at the time was like, I don't know what the fuck to get her, and
mhm.
and I just, you know what? I don't have to worry about it anymore. All I got to do is get my kids some toys or some shit, and it's done. I'm done. That's it. That's all I got to do. I'll get my roommate like a gift card to like Outback Steakhouse or some shit like that, and then my friend who went on my trip with me, I'll get her something, and then
Yeah.
that's it. I don't have to worry about it. It's not because I'm like, you know what? It doesn't matter. I don't have this big pressure of wife and extended family and all this shit. It's just me and my boys, and it's so much easier.
Well, that's good. And I like to hear things like that because it does kind of put it in perspective a little bit too for me. Like, oh, I don't know. I know I don't have to do these things either. Like you're saying, "Oh, I'm not gonna get like all this shit." Yeah, you know what? I probably don't need to either, you know? Like nobody's gonna be like, "Oh, where was my present?" as adults, you know?
Right.
But I stress myself out, I guess. I shouldn't say that it's stressful because someone else is making it stressful for me, you know, like you just said, like, you know, it's just me and my boys. I could make it more like that. So that's a good point. That's that's true.
I'm just not good at buying gifts. I'm not good at thinking about shit to get for people.
See, neither am I, and that's why it's stressful.
On occasion, I'll run into something and be like, "Oh my god, this is perfect for this person." You know, I'm like, "Oh," and I'm like, "I wish it was this easy for everybody," but most of the time it's like, I don't know what to get anybody. I don't know. You
Yeah.
know, like one time a couple years ago for Christmas, I got like this at my sister's suggestion. I was trying like, sister, what the hell do I get the wife? I don't know what the fuck. She's like, how about getting her some like a nice comfy like pajama set, like something comfortable to wear at home to relax in. I'm like, all right. So I made some choices and I got her this set of like this shirt and kind of pant kind of setup thing. And she was like, oh, thank you. It's really nice. And she never wore it once. And I'm like, she hates
See, see, that's yeah.
and I was like, you know what? Don't ever buy a girl clothes. Just get her a gift card to
It
thing.
is hard. It
It,
is hard.
it seemed really obvious after the fact, but I felt super embarrassed because I'm like, she really didn't like it, but she would never say, this is fucking stupid, you know? But I felt profoundly embarrassed.
Oh no.
And she didn't do anything. It's just she never wore it ever. I'm like, but don't buy a girl clothes. It's kind of like for me as an artist, I tell people, don't ever, ever, ever buy me art supplies.
Yeah. Yep.
As an artist, there's shit that one, don't buy me oil paints. I don't do painting. You know what I mean? Don't
Buy
buy
me
me
oil paint.
candles.
So if anybody's wondering what to get me for Christmas.
I'm like, the best thing you could give an artist is a gift card to an art store.
Yeah, that's true.
That's what my ex-wife's mother used to do every year. She'd give me a gift card for like $100 to Hobby Lobby. And she's like, Rob, I'm so sorry. It's so impersonal. I'm like, no, 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 no. You don't understand. This is the greatest thing. 'Cause I can go in
I
and
look forward to this every year.
all this cash to go. I do. I told her, I said, I look forward. I told her
Yeah, I
privately,
would too. I would too.
I look forward to your present the most every year because I can just go into the local craft store and I can get all kinds of shit. And it's the shit that I know I want.
Yeah.
I'm like, I told her, I said, no, don't ever buy me art supplies. Just give me the means to go get my own. And I'll be like, you just perfect. Thank you. And so she's like, all right, well, I just don't want you to feel like I was being impersonal. I'm like, no, 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 no. This is amazing. Thank you so much. So that worked out.
That's true. And again, like I've gotten stuff like there's a few people who have bought in me. Yes, I'm from Southern Indiana. I don't speak properly. Um, who have bought me some art supplies. But there are also people who are close enough to me or also artists um, that have bought me ones I really liked. Either I hadn't tried it before or they already knew I used that. Um, like my sister-in-law, she was even talking about this one year. She was like, "Oh, I'll just get you some Bristol paper." I'm like, "Perfect."
Right. Yeah.
You know, because she knows that's what I use. You know, she's seen it a billion times at my house. So, you know, it just depends
Yeah.
on the
Yeah. That's fair.
situation. And you know, I've got another sister. She bought me a set of Prismacolor pencils. I don't use colored pencils very often, but I wouldn't have bought them for myself necessarily, but it was kind of nice and I've used them a few times and gotten some enjoyment. But for the most part, I'm the same way.
Yeah. Just a gift card is the greatest gift for for an art.
And I think that goes honestly for a lot of adults. If you know them, a gift card, if they have hobbies and stuff, just and it's not something you're into, just get them a. a gift card.
Yeah.
The non-artist. So
Like, one time, my ex-wife, she bought me, um, and it was great at, um, I'm trying to think of what they're called, but when I do the comic conventions and I set up at my table, you get these. She got me this set, this package of. They're like, I don't know what to call them. It's to set up stuff at your booth at your Comic Con. To It's like these little square pieces of like metal mesh. They're like
mhm.
12 inches, and then they come with little cords, so you can build like shapes that all interconnect and hold together, to help set up your booth to display things on. And I use it every year. Like, I'm like, oh my god, this is perfect. She was like, this is for Comic-Con. I looked it up, and this is what people use, and I know you don't have these, so I was like, this is amazing. It's so great. She really did like the most perfect, like, here, let me assist your creativity.
That's actually sweet, yeah.
It was really awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And see, I think there are, situations like that where someone just knows you, knows what you need.
Yeah.
But as a general rule, yeah, I see what you're saying. See, that's pretty cool. Oh man, I'm deciding if I should put some green, make the eyes of the dinosaur green, because she wanted green, pink, purple. We'll
Now, wasn't
see.
this supposed to be a unicorn dinosaur?
There's a unicorn on here too, and there's a little girl that's supposed to look similar to her. But I'm just start doing the dinosaur tonight.
Oh. So it's not a unicorn and a dinosaur combined, like
Oh
a
no,
unicorn,
they're
like
supposed to be together on board, but
that's
not
what I
combined.
wanted to see. I wanted to see a unicorn or a dinosaur with a unicorn horn. That would be.
She probably would like that. I guess I didn't think about that.
So I'm like, oh, I don't know. What would you, a Tyrannosaurus unicornus rexius maximus?
Dang it! Actually, that probably would have been a better idea. It's evil Barney. That's exactly what it is.
Nick Wilson, what's up?
Heck,
Rob, your Batman versus Predator was awesome. Yeah, the that video on the Batman versus Predator comic, that was a fun one to revisit. I hope other people got the enjoyment that my brother and I got out of that one. That was a fun one to revisit.
I didn't watch it. I'm sorry.
Pitch. Lucifer Fernandez says it's Unisaur. That's what it should be called.
Unisaur. Yes. Maybe I will have to do that as a different project. You know.
Chuck Gibson, hey man, how you doing? Glad to see you on here, sir.
Does she like owls with eye patches? Oh my gosh.
That painting you did, I still think about that. That was so freaking fantastic.
Oh my gosh, I kind of forgot, and that was the last one we did, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
I just wasted all that time.
You didn't waste nothing. You made a drawing with a girl with an eye patch and a pet owl with an eye patch.
Dude, I know, right?
So I'm not joking. I
And I
kind
felt
of
the
want that.
group really helped me decide on that. That
Yeah,
was like a group effort there.
I kind of for real want that drawing if you don't have any other plans for it.
I'm gonna send it to you with the other ones.
You say that week after week.
You, you okay? Now you're the bitch. You know that I can't. Okay, I'm sorry. Doing the best that I can. I tell you what, the next time that you're on time and actually ready at 5,
Oh, you are such.
I will send out that package.
I don't mean to divert for a second, but for anybody in the chat that's listening, I got to shout out. Hey, Mr. Chuck Gibson, he is a gentleman that did ink work for Wildstorm Comics back in the day. He chimes in on the several of my videos, so he has worked in that industry. With I talk about all these '90s comics, and so it's awesome, Chuck Gibson. If you're still listening, I appreciate you stopping in and saying hi. But to have somebody who's worked with, in that world. It's awesome.
That is awesome.
Mark, what you said you started reading it, but Kubrick's art turned you off on it. We were talking that the artist Andy Kubrick, he's kind of hit and miss for me. Sometimes he's got some distinctive kind of artistic flares that are difficult sometimes. But in that book, the Batman versus Predator that I did, I'm like, hey, it just worked for me. Well, thanks for stopping in, Chuck. I really appreciate it.
No, while you're eating dinner, nice, nice. What are you eating for dinner?
Right? Because I've got a bag of potato chips next to me, and I'm like, this is kind of gross. I'm gonna have to get dinner. Like once we're done.
This is kind of gross.
This is not awesome.
Oh my gosh, I don't know why that made me laugh. So this is kind of gross.
It's
I
like,
gotta mix colors here, so sorry if my side's kind of boring for a second. However, Rob, you're killing it on those faces and
well, I'm still waiting. I'm going to bring it up. Does anybody else recognize, vaguely speaking, this basic layout? It's an homage to an old school cover from the '90s, and there was one guess that somebody said earlier that was kind of close. Kind of close.
kind of close.
Ribs with potato and some corn. All right. Now my potato.
And ribs right now? That sounds amazing.
Oh, my potato chips seem super terrible now.
Yeah.
Not that it's dinner, but
Be honest, you were thinking about making it.
it might be. I'm like, I just.
No judgments here. I mean, I'm super, super lazy when it comes to dinner, so lately.
Tommy Two Socks. You nailed it.
What is it?
You said brigade.
Brigade.
So right here, I'll show it.
Oh, yeah. Wow, good job.
um,
Wow, you really know your comic books.
because going up tomorrow, I have a review of this book right here, which is a remaster of this one from the '90s. And so it's kind of a compare and contrast. But I kept looking at this cover. I'm like, I don't know. It kind of works in a way. So I just started sketching this yesterday just to do it.
That's awesome. I love it.
Chuck Gibson, he's like, sorry, not sorry. Right?
Oh.
Like,
Yeah, tell us you're having ribs, and now I want ribs, but the chance of me getting ribs not very high.
so yeah, good night, Tommy Two Socks. Yeah, you knew that one right away. And Chuck, he says, I know that pose looked familiar. Somebody earlier, when I was kind of asking when we first started, suggested it kind of looks like Cable, and I was like, I mean, the artist it's Liefeld, and Liefeld made Cable. So the fact that somebody was like, it kind of looks like that. I was like close, but I didn't want to give too much of a hint.
Right. Hey, Courtney.
There's Courtney. Yep.
We were talking about you earlier.
We were talking about you.
She said, I know my ears were burning.
Look, Mark, he says you hate Liefeld's art so much, and yet it's like, no, I don't. There's
Yeah.
some stuff he does that really works. There's a reason that it worked, and I try to be honest and recognize the 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 dynamic posing and energy and the vibe. Like there's something there that works. And again, as I say, I always like his older stuff, and this is very old.
Mm-hmm.
92. So this is ancient. And
Okay, I was born
when were you born, Missy?
90.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying, I was two. I wouldn't say ancient.
Yeah, I would. Because I
Okay.
was born in 1977. So
1997.
once again, I'm reminded how old I am.
You were born in a better era than I was, though, hands down. So I'll give you that. Just be grateful for that.
Chuck, he's saying Rob Liefeld actually hired me a year before Wildstorm did, but then it fell through. Damn, man,
Wow.
that's really interesting. That would have been. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to say this. I think working for Wildstorm was probably the better gig. Ultimately, I mean, I don't know what the hell do I know?
Not much.
Right? Damn you, bitch. You know what? I can't wait for you to go have this baby and take a break for a month or whatever it's going to be. I hope Courtney comes and joins me. Courtney, by the way, talking about hoping that you're still willing to join up with me if we do these at once in a while if you're interested.
But she's got to do the same thing. I already said that. You gotta hold him accountable. Sorry, we go on what you were talking about. Better gig, not working for Liefeld.
Yeah. I mean, from what I understand, Liefeld paid pretty well, but I imagine everybody probably was doing all right at that era because that was an era when there was money being made, but I don't know nothing. Chuck Gibson, he's saying, don't talk about my old. He was born in 68, so you're about 10 years older than me. So, yeah, I'm feeling my age. I was like, I don't feel that different in my head, but physically, I'm like, God, I'm getting old. My birthday's coming up in about almost just 30 days here. And
He keeps reminding everybody of that, by the way.
yes,
You notice that? I don't think I mentioned my birthday once, Rob, but you mentioned your birthday a lot.
because I'm an old man and it sucks. And I'm trying to like cope with it. And I thought having my friend here to support me, but my friend is being a little bit of
That's true. Fair enough. Okay, I will support you. That's so exciting about your birthday coming up in 30 days.
Courtney's saying she feels old and she was born in 97. Like I'd been out of high school for 2 years.
Oh, yeah, you're born in 97. I was only 7. We're pretty close in age.
But I will agree that I feel like I had the opportunity to grow up. Like I'm a child of the 80s and a teenager of the 90s. In a way, I wouldn't want to be a teenager of modern day today, anything, because modern day today is a, uh,
I think that would have been like super cool to be a child of the 80s. Like I just do. I just do. Everything good happened in the 80s, it feels like. Or
yeah.
early. I was born in 70, Gen X in the house. Nice. Another good year though, because by the time the 70 or the 80s hit, all the Star Wars came out when you were a kid.
Yeah.
Correct? I guess no. I guess you would have been a teenager when the Star Wars. No, no, kid, yeah. Kid.
Well, yeah, the first one, 77, the year I was born, but
Yep. And then 80 for the next one, and then what, 83 for the other one?
yeah. Chuck Gibson saying all the extreme guys went on to work in animation and movies because the office was in Anaheim. I seem to recognize that a lot of those names went on to do a lot of work in that kind of industry. Um,
Oh, really?
Chuck, are you serious? Are you being serious right now? Don't toy with my emotions, sir.
Oh.
Because they would literally be the highlight of this
He's
whole.
gonna cry.
I might don't, bitch. Shut up.
Hey, Kate. Mr. D-Man says Courtney is a young buck.
She is, but she's awesome, and we love her.
That's true.
When our
Agreed.
birthdays are, mine is January 6th. But no, Jessica ain't going to tell us because she makes the point how she doesn't point out her birthday. And I couldn't tell you because we've established.
What does everybody think my birthday is? If you had to guess a month and a day,
Oh my
because I
god!
already said year. Do
And I,
you know, Rob?
but I don't. I mean,
Wow.
know that you've told.
No.
I know I should know.
I know yours because it's the day before my parents' anniversary. Oh, Kate says your birthday is almost the same as her pups. Kate knows my birthday. You don't count. Don't say anything.
Like,
For anybody who's wondering, Kate is my sister, so
yeah,
she,
I think your sister better know.
yeah, so she doesn't get to make a guess. Nice try. Easily guessed it, she says.
Face, you put her out of the, you like the contention.
Yeah. I just somehow silence her. Okay, so Courtney's January 13th? Is that what she's saying? Oh no, Courtney's
December.
13th of December. I remember because
We talked about that. Yeah.
yeah, because I'm scheduled to have my baby on the 15th.
Right.
But she could come early, you never know. So you guys will have to do a birthday one for
Oh,
her.
see, that's a good idea, Courtney. She'll probably have plans. She's like, I ain't gonna spend my birthday doing all
Well, I mean, she one of the nights of that week maybe.
right.
And then you guys maybe she could pick the art that, you guys do or something.
Yeah, I like that idea. But yeah, Chuck Gibson, if you're serious, I'll have to do. I'll have to come up with something to really make that one worth it. That'd be awesome. You know, that'd be. I mean, this is a guy. This is a gentleman who's worked with Jim Lee, amongst many others. That's
Wow,
awesome in the chat.
be legit. That doesn't happen every day.
Oh, Mark. Mark's like, I don't know my own birthday. I'm like a shitty Weapon X, and he's like, I was adopted. I'm like, oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I appreciate your having to say
The chat's vibe just
right. Oh,
oh
but I
boy.
remember, Mark, you say when I did the video of your comic book on my channel that someone chimed in that it said they've known you and said something about that. So that is actually, that was awesome. That was, I mean, we're not laughing at your misfortune, but that was really great. Like,
I mean, yeah, that's a misfortune, but you were adopted, so that's cool.
a shitty Weapon X. I don't know if you get that reference.
Mm-mm.
Well, Wolverine in the comics and all that, he was part of a a program that like took his mutant powers and gave him um his bone,
Oh,
the whole process to give him his metal claws and all that shit, but it erased his memory. So Wolverine as a character has always been without memory. He doesn't know where he's from, he
right,
doesn't know who his family is, he doesn't know anything.
right.
So that's why he's like, I'm a shitty Weapon X.
Oh wow.
Oh, that's awesome, Mark.
Good. Congrats on that. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's awesome. He's like, no, I'm super happy to have been adopted. I'm sure it saved my life. He says, I have great parents. That's awesome. That's good to hear that, you know,
Yeah.
something positive comes out of all of that.
My brother-in-law, well, Kate's boyfriend, he's adopted as well. And he's super close to his family and pretty pretty sweet.
That's awesome.
Yeah, his adopted siblings and him are like super close. So
Chuck Gibson saying, I think I got to ink Jim Lee about 3 to 4 times total, scared to death the whole way through each time. That is, I've always wondered what that would be like, given a gig to,
mm,
ink work over. I mean, I don't think it's a stretch to say, especially at the time, the single most popular and profitable American superhero comic artist.
Mhm.
Um, and you're like, oh, I get to do the inks over his pencils. Don't fuck it up. You know what I mean? I couldn't imagine the stress what that would be like.
I definitely can't imagine.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
Or to take it back to the big boss, and like, hey, I actually tipped over the bottle of ink onto your,
Oh my gosh.
so it's ruined.
Oh my gosh, that'd be terrible.
He's like, my whole body. He says right here, my whole body was shaking, and then yeah, so that makes your inking hand nervous. You know what I mean? I'm like, God damn it, I got to be controlled. I got to get my snaps right. I got to do this all correctly. Damn it. Oh, I don't know if I would be like, I'm gonna go get a nice big photocopy of this and I don't know, ink trace over or something. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Hey Chuck, if you ever have the opportunity to oh, I mean, he's saying some of which you probably wouldn't have seen. I mean, if you happen to have any I don't know, copies of it or something like that, something you could share on your social media, that'd be interesting to see. If that's, it'd be like, here's a Jim Lee thing that I inked back in the day. That'd be awesome to see.
Is this Claire on here
That's
from
Claire. That is him. Holy shit, dude.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
I was like, who's
What's up?
1980? But I know who that guy is. Claire, please come back and work at my store. We're done. Um, Chuck saying I inked Jim Lee's Angela trading card from the first Spawn trading cards. All right, I'm gonna write this down so I can go look it up. Angela Spawn trading card. I got to look that up. I want to see.
That's awesome. It's been so long since I have talked to you, of course, because I haven't worked there in what, 13 years now or something?
Right? Long time for you.
Yeah,
I'm glad you stopped in, Claire.
that's awesome.
Yeah, Chuck. I'm gonna go look that up. Jim Lee's Angela trading card from the first Spawn trading card set. I'm gonna look that up. That's awesome.
Now, have you, and I'm the worst right now, like, because I have not been watching your channel, but have you had Chuck on your channel yet?
He's been commenting. Um he's been commenting on my stuff often.
That would be cool if you could interview him. I don't know if you've asked or not, but Chuck, if you had the time, that would be super cool to have him do an interview with you and actually see some of your stuff. I'm not as familiar with, I mean, comic book stuff. Um, I know some, but not really anything crazy. But I obviously know Jim Lee is, but everybody does. Um, that would be super sweet.
It would. He says he needs to get his Insta going big time.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Claire says you can work for me when I get my store. Claire, get a store, please. You're literally the only guy that I would choose to quit working at my current location, which is extremely convenient for me, and drive elsewhere to work at that place.
Yeah, you're a badass manager, Claire. Courtney says that would be awesome. Are you talking about
Yeah, which
Chuck? Huh?
I was like, yeah, we've been covering a bunch of different subjects suddenly.
I'm
So,
like, I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if she's talking about Chuck doing an interview or what, but
or Yeah. I'm just glad that he's been commenting and he's been offering all kinds of like insights to different things at the time, you know.
Hmm.
So that's always fun.
Yeah, she said the interview. Yeah. Thanks, Claire. Nice to talk to you again. Yeah, Mark says, I don't understand how y'all inkers are able to draw such steady lines with such confidence on the page. Yeah, me
Dude,
either. Nope, I don't get it.
yeah.
All my inking lines look like terrible.
Epileptic monkey was holding the pen.
Yep. Like I gave it to my 2-year old.
Well, I got to talk with the inker Matt Banning 2 years ago. He had a booth right across from mine at the comic convention I was at. And it was fun to sit down and talk to him. And he was always happy to talk shop, as he put it. And I was asking him, I was looking at some of the art prints he was selling. And I'm like, how do you get these long fluid lines? And what do you, he's like, I just use the Hunt 102. And it's like, you can't use it brand new and like razor sharp. You got to get it kind of worked in to get these lines. Like, he was giving me all kinds of like information, but it's just, I think it's just practice, you know, practice, practice, practice. So it was great to sit there and talk to a guy. He was really willing to chat, you know, and a professional guy that's worked in the industry. It was really fun.
Yeah.
But that steady hand is just, how do you develop that?
Yeah, because I mean, some of your stuff to me, even your stuff, like, okay, I guess you're a pro now because you've been paid. But I
I
would,
got paid one time. I'm a pro, quote unquote. Right? Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Um, I look at it and I think this looks printed almost because it's so fine and so perfect. And I don't even know. Like I'll have those moments. I'm like, oh, that actually turned out a lot better. But I really struggle with that. And I only ever tried using the brush to be fair, but I just, I'm not as good with the ink.
Yeah. I'm occasionally when I do something that I think looks kind of good, and then I'll go look up some other professional work, and I'm like, my stuff looks like garbage compared to this. It's so unbelievable. Even when I do something, I'm like, I think I nailed something here. But then, and like you said, when it's so clean and precise, it almost looks like you're saying, like I've had that thought before, where it looks printed because it's
Yeah,
so clean. I'm like, how do you guys do this?
yeah, I don't know. It's crazy to me because it seems unreal. And that's another thing I will say because everybody's into AI and um I've actually seen lately. I've been looking into a lot of AI. I call it AI imaging. I don't call it art, but I know a lot of people do. Um, but I've seen a lot of them where if you look real closely, it's kind of shitty the way the line work is on it, or you'll have obviously you've got the ones with the extra fingers and stuff, but just like, you'll have to get a really great one to get like some pristine lines and stuff. Like sometimes I see an artist actually do better line work than this computer, like
Yeah.
I have seen artists do a better job at getting the line work.
Well, sometimes inking, for example, it's not about a perfectly sharp, perfect, flawless line. Sometimes, like a rough, sketchy, like crazy organic line is what you want. And I've seen people who don't know how to do digital inking very well. Their line work is so dead. It's just like a dead flat line. There's no life to it, as opposed to like a brush or the Hunt 102, like I talk about all the time. One of these things where you can get the line just has some more life and lively bounce to it. It's just something about it looks better. But as I'm flipping through here, because Courtney, she says inking is hard for me, even in digital. I spend most of the time on the line work. And Chuck, because Chuck he works digitally now. He mentioned, uh,
Mhm.
because you have to learn to do it with the same level of comfort you have with the pencil. You waste a lot of ink and nibs to figure it out. He says digital inking is much easier if you know how to use analog tools, like if you know how to do it by hand. He just said you don't have to have a steady hand if you move your hand quickly enough. You do the line so fast you don't have time to shake. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I've seen that. In fact, I was watching recently. There's this artist, another. I'm sure Chuck will know. Ryan Benjamin is another artist that used to work for Wildstorm, and I was watching this clip on Instagram. I guess he's doing some instructional videos, and he was talking about like if you're inking and you have like a point here and a point way over here and trying to connect them, and he was talking about look at like put your pen where you're starting at, and he's like and look at where you're going. Don't follow your hand and your line trying to make it connect. Just look at the point you're going to and then just connect it. And he was demonstrating that, and he says it takes some practice, but it was a really interesting conversation he was having about look at the point you want to end at and then just have your hand go to it. And I was like, oh, okay, you know, that was an interesting. Like, I gotta practice that because I've done the thing with where
Yeah.
you have like 2 points and you're trying to like connect the points. Like you start with 2 points that are short and connect it, and then 2 points that are farther away and connect it. There's all these like instructional videos out there that are. I think, like you said, it's just practice is really,
Key.
practice is key because once you do a thing and you just do it repetitively, you're going to start getting good at it.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I would say, like, that's actually interesting. I'll have to remember that because I definitely just follow my hand when I'm
It's like you're staring at your hand trying to get it to go
you know,
where you.
I'm staring at my brush or yeah. Oh shoot, I really just knocked my camera all over the place. That not the destination like you were saying. Ever.
Yeah,
It's always like, oh, where's the brush going? What's the line doing?
yeah. It was a really interesting thing that artist was talking about. I was like, I never even thought of that. So now I like, all right, now I gotta give it a shot. I gotta try.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know what's funny is I was kind of excited to like finish this center figure, but I have to draw all these faces around it first. And so now I've spent all my time just drawing these damn faces because you have to get it kind of right. Like I haven't even touched the fun part. It's all right.
I mean, they look really good.
I mean, I'm trying to make it right, but I'm not complaining. I was just like, oh, I'm gonna finish penciling this center figure. And I was like, hell, even maybe I'll start inking. But yeah, that's not gonna happen tonight. Not here, at least.
Okay, I'm not even gonna finish this dinosaur, and it's only a small portion of this painting, so not a small portion. It's probably the biggest thing on there, but it happens.
Courtney says I got the facial symmetry down. Well, it's all about constructing those construction lines to balance everything out, get that center line and line everything up.
Mm-hmm. They look really good.
Because it's really easy for faces to start drifting and getting distorted and weird looking. I mean, I don't want to make too fine a point on it, but sometimes they can look kind of funny. Like sometimes, like that one right there by Mr. Anyway,
Oh my gosh, are we back to Liefeld again?
uh, that,
Mm. Mm. See, I don't know any of these digital art programs because never even tried digital art.
because my brother he does it, and so
Yeah.
when I go visit him, I'll he's let me take his I don't know his iPad, and I think it's Clip Studio, like some of these they were mentioning that they use. Um, And I've tried it, and I'm like, because I haven't given it a really fair, like, I've mentioned this. I understand the appeal of digital art. Endless paper, endless ink and supplies and brushes and tools. It never goes dry. All you have to have is a electricity and a functioning device. I get it. I really, really do. But I like doing stuff by hand. And again, I think part of the appeal digital is the expediency of everything. You can make things happen quicker.
Yeah.
Like for example, instead of having a big area to black in, you could just like outline it and click and boom, the area is filled in black, as opposed to, let me get out my brush, let me blacken this in. Like, there's some convenient shortcuts. And so I kind of feel like maybe I should give it a shot, but since I ain't a professional, nothing, I do this because I like it, just cause I'm just going to do it for now the way I like to do it.
Yeah. My father-in-law, he makes maps in, I don't remember what it's called either, but maybe it's also Clip Studio. That sounds familiar to me. Um
It's pretty.
and yeah, he makes maps for, cuz he does like weekly, he's a D&D master. And so he makes maps and sells them to use for the games. And so he's really big into the digital art, but and he does them very well. I mean, they're beautiful. They look amazing. Like I to for me to create that same thing would take me months probably. What it takes him like a week to do.
Yeah.
But then I've got my own father who's also an artist, and he won't touch digital art with a 10-foot pole. He's like, no, I gotta hold something in my hand that's, for him. He again, his is a hobby. He doesn't sell anything or do anything like that. Um, but he's kind of like you always are. It's like, just I like the feeling of it.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like to each their own what works for them. And
Claire, and he says, have you ever loaded your art into the 3D converters and turned it into 3D? No, I've never done anything like that. I never even occurred to me.
I haven't either. Nope, nope, nope.
Let's see. Chuck is saying, I have a hybrid method. I tend to rough stuff out on paper and then finish digitally fairly often. That makes sense.
I actually feel like I've known a lot of digital artists who do that,
Yeah.
who do both like that. Like it starts out as like a rough draft on paper, and then they put it to the digital program. Michael says, I make my comics with digital, but do side projects in traditional, and I found I love doing traditional more, or I can't tell because there's this heart in the middle, but I think you said love doing traditional more, but I am way slow with it. Yeah, I mean it is slower unless you just have all day to dedicate to it, but it still would be slower either way. Whenever you
I think it depends on the artist too, because there are some artists that can crank out pages. And speaking of comic books, but
you're right
pump
out.
out pages fast.
I think you do that actually. You're pretty fast.
Hey, I'm not that fast.
I mean,
I know it.
I know what you're saying, but
No, you don't.
yeah, because you make that comment every time I say something like
Right? No, I'm not hearing a woman say that about me. Let's see. Chuck is saying, I can't get the same degree of looseness in my figures on the graphics tablet as I can on paper. Better to lay out there. See, that makes sense to me. I've done, like I said, I was sketching, playing around with my brother's iPad, and I'm like, all right, this is fun, but I feel a disconnect from myself when I'm not physically holding the pencil and touching paper. But that's just because that's what I'm used to. I know, there are people who do the most amazing stuff digitally. Obviously, it's just a matter of practice, but I feel a disconnect for me, and I'm not interested in investing in the tools, the time, to start digitally.
Interesting.
Someone was saying it could be a great time saver for flatting. Let's talk about coloring. You click on your inked image and apply a special layer to it. You can then literally scribble your colors over the areas you want. It'll do the rest to fill everything in.
Yeah, I do think digital coloring, even over like traditional um sketching or inking, actually looks really, really good.
Yeah, and see, Chuck is saying here the graphics tablet makes a huge difference. I'm not sure how you put Huion. It's a type of a drawing thing. Is using is very close to drawing on paper. That makes sense. The closer you can get to the feel of, like, connected to the art tools. I remember Adam Hughes saying one time the last thing you want to do is be fighting your tools, because you're always fighting yourself to create the art you want. But if your tools are not working with you, then there's multiple battles going on. But yeah, I understand there's some different. There's cheap versions. There's nicer versions to work on. I always watch for the most people in here will know who Todd McFarlane is. I watch him on his social media, and this big giant drawing tablet that he has, and this huge drawing surface. I'm like, that looks kind of fun. I don't know if I could have this giant drawing surface and could figure it out. For some reason, the one Todd McFarlane uses looks fun. I don't know anything about the how or why, but it looks like it would be a fun thing to try.
I actually think I watched him too uh do that before.
Yeah.
It's like almost the size of like not really a like, are you talking about where it's the piece that you actually draw on, but it's just black and then it has the screen that comes up? Is that what
I mean, the one that I'm talking about that McFarlane has, it's like people have like an iPad to draw on, and it's
right,
just a little tiny thing. But the thing that McFarlane draws on is like almost like the size of it. I mean, not the size of a desk, but I mean, I don't know what the dimensions are, but very big.
right,
And so
right.
you've got all your tools, kind of your digital tools laid out, and you can get really close on. You got just a bigger visual surface to
Oh, okay.
rather than
Okay.
this little tiny iPad that you're working on. So
Because I know a while back considered doing digital art, and the setup that I was, again, I went to my father-in-law because he does that, was actually a just like a, I guess it was like I guess like I would say this. I don't know if it was like a sensory board or whatever, but you didn't. The display wasn't on the board. The display was up on your
yeah,
TV computer screen,
yeah,
and then you just sat and you used it like a pencil,
yeah,
and it's a stylus of some kind, you know.
yeah.
And so I've seen those too, which are they have some really big ones of those as well.
Yeah, one of my buddies, he does art and animation, and he's used that before. And I'm like, how do you not feel completely disconnected when you're physically drawing on this rough, not a digital surface, but you're looking at your computer screen and following your mouse there? He's like, it took
Yeah,
some time to get used to, but eventually you just start figuring it out. I think he's moved on to where you just are actually drawing on the digital surface. I don't know what the proper terminology is.
I don't either. That's why I'm like, I don't know I don't. Nobody come after me. I don't know what it's called, and I didn't do it, so I still don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, Wacom. I've heard a lot of people refer to him as. I think that's. And Courtney, she's like, I heard Wacom Cintiqs are nice. She's like, I use an iPad simply because it's portable and I take it to work. And that I get. That's the thing with those
yeah.
display tablet. There you go. Someone saying.
Yeah, that's what I was told. They're like, "Oh, this is like the best way to do it, supposedly, like set your systems up like this." And I was like, this seems odd to me, but
Yeah.
I do see people do cool stuff on it.
I'm not glad, Jess. I'm still kind of disappointed that your dinosaur doesn't have a unicorn horn, because that's what I thought you were doing. So I got that in my head.
Sorry. I'm
I guess
so sorry.
draw the Unisaurus.
I will make that one of the things I do just for the fun of it. Oh, that'll be your birthday present from me. It'll be nearly good as Chuck's. I know you'll treasure it just as much.
Hey Chuck, thanks for stepping in here, man. He's saying he's got a bail. He's gonna draw a bit before bed. Oh man, crash early. Yeah, tell me about it, man. I'm getting old and I'm starting to feel myself needing to go to bed early all the time. But thank you, Chuck Gibson, for stopping in.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Um, I mean, having a legitimate like industry, guy who's worked in the industry stop in on my live stream. It's quite the honor. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it very, very much.
Good night. Get some rest. Thanks, Courtney. I am drawing it for a 5-year-old, but I actually really like it too. Whew.
Mark is asking if I've ever considered setting up a Discord channel so we can all hang out, not streaming. It's occurred to me, but I've never even see someone saying like I've tried to get him to do a Discord before, but nudging him. I mean, I guess
I have Discord.
I do, but I don't ever. I mean, I follow a couple of things, and I don't ever jump into it. And there's not
Mine, I
me.
only use for gaming.
Yeah, I've thought about it. I guess I could. I don't know anything about how to do it, but I'm sure I could probably figure it out because I'm a big boy.
Eh.
Wow, and
I'm just kidding, Rob.
I see how it is.
I'm just joking with you, of course.
Oh, no. You know what? I can't wait until you are not able to join me anymore. How about that?
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Wow. Why don't you just fire me then already?
Right?
Fire from your channel.
I can't do that. People show up for you.
No, they don't.
Not exclusively, but somewhat.
No, they don't.
You're charming.
You're
That you have to bring the charm. I don't.
well, I will give you this. I do think I'm a little bit more charming than you are.
100%. I agree. Right? Like everyone's gonna say.
I'm just saying these things. I don't really mean them.
They're still trying to push this Discord. One of us, one of us. It's an essential part of the influencer. Oh, you said the word I hate, being an influencer. I understand what everyone means by that, but I'm like, I never
That's
that word. It's
that's
just like,
what you are when you're got a following. So
I mean, but what do I influence?
Mark says, "I yeah, I said it, influencer."
I'm a chucklehead with a foul mouth talking about comic books as if I know any damn thing. That's all I am.
Yeah, but that's still why people tune in to your channel, and they
I've
would tune into your Discord too.
All right, guys. I'll see if I can figure out how to or whatever, however that works.
That would be awesome.
I keep having this fantasy scenario pop into my head. I'm like, something's gonna go wrong one of these days. I'm gonna get fired from my job for some reason, and I'll be like, I'll have to like take some time and see if I can't build up the social media thing, and maybe I can start making money at this somehow.
You feel like you'd have to get fired in order to
Not that I want to, but I feel like I keep having this like pervasive fear, like something's gonna happen. I'm just gonna lose my fucking job. I've been at this place for 18 years, and something's just gonna go shitty. I just know it is. That's gonna be my luck. And then what am I gonna do? I'm like, well, if I could, I don't know, get unemployment for a few months, for a few months, maybe I could take and focus it and see if I can't build this up and get something going.
I've actually heard that before. That a lot of times entrepreneurs, that's what happened to them is they needed that, that kind of like, I have no choice now. Like I'm just gonna sit and work on this because at this point, I lost my job or whatever, and I had the time to actually make it happen. I thought I'm gonna, go for it and see.
Yeah,
So I mean, it's not the craziest idea if that
yeah.
were to happen. Not that I'm saying that would be nice, but
No, I know. I get what you're saying, but I've literally thought about that. I'm like, if something happened, oh,
yeah. I don't know. I think this has been really cool. I think you do a great job. I know you're always joking, like, oh, my stupid little channel here. But really, I think it's a really fun one. And obviously people like it. And I don't know, I think that it's been correct me if I'm wrong, really fun for you.
oh, I wouldn't be doing this shit if there wasn't some enjoyment out of it. I have
Yeah.
like I think I've said this, but I have to kind of credit you for kind of pushing me in this direction in the first place because you said you should do this, Rob. You should create a channel, and you were more like talk about art and techniques and blah blah this and blah blah that, and but you kind of pushed me first.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, yeah, I think when I originally said it, I wasn't necessarily thinking the same route that you went. But I mean, it didn't need to be, you know, I just knew you'd be good at it. Because and you started uploading videos, I remember on Instagram, and you had all people talk about, oh, like they really like listening to your voice.
Said that, and a couple guys and couple girls like I'm like, what? Really?
And I had said the same thing. I was like, yeah, I think you're more entertaining than you realize and fun to listen to.
And handsome.
And you're handsome.
Sorry, I gotta scroll back here. Mark says, "Yeah, I said it, influencer," and then Lost Illusion says, "Content creator." That's another one. Again, it just feels so weird to me, but it's right. Content creator, influencer, content creator sounds like robot words, right? Mark says, "I totally read Batman versus Predator because you covered it. Super influence." See,
See, but that's true. And I see this on here a lot of people saying, oh, yeah, I went and read this back because I watched your video. Or I went and picked this one up because, you did a review on it. And you do reviews on amateur books. And so, those people might not get as much,
yeah,
if because again, you do them and then people are like, oh, wow, that's actually really cool.
yeah, that's been part of the fun part of it.
Yeah,
Um, Courtney's saying they'd be crazy to fire you if you stayed with them for 18 years. That's kind of what I say. But am I crazy for staying with them for 18 years?
you might be.
Right.
No, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, I don't think. Sticking with a job for a while and actually,
Well, it's been pretty consistent. It's a pretty fun, like easygoing environment, and
right.
I don't know.
Yep. No, I actually think it's kind of rare these days to see people stay at a job for very long. So,
Someone's saying this like getting fired is part of the pro process. See, yeah, see. Maybe I'll go in tomorrow and just like tell my boss at work, "Hey, I got something to say to you." He'd be like, "What?" And I would just like shit on his desk. I remember back when I was married, I used to tell my wife at the time. I said, "I swear to God, if I get if we win the lottery, for example, I'm like, I'm going to just go shit on my boss's desk just to tell him that's how I get fired. Because what are you going to do?
Yeah.
I quit, dude. I'm out of here. You're going to call the cops on me? Oh, all right. Well, that's fair.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
What's crazy is back in that time, I really liked most of the bosses I had working for me. The one now, it's
Hope he
kind
just logs in right now.
of, what's that?
I hope he logs in right now.
Right. He's like, oh, hey, what's up? I thought I said, oh, you motherfucker. See me in my office tomorrow morning.
Oh, wow. That's funny. I
Mr. D Man says getting fired in the comic book industry means nothing now. You fail upwards, right? And Michael De La Fonte says, I'm amused by your take on Liefeld drawings. I did hear Liefeld is one of the nicest people to meet at a convention. I've heard that so much too. He seems like he genuinely, when he's interacting with his fans, he's excited and he's glad that people are there. I completely like, I understand that. He's just kind of a dick online if anybody even looks at him cross-eyed, and that's the part I struggle with. But
maybe that's just the persona he wants to put out there for some reason.
I mean, he's been given a lot of shit for a lot of years, and so I could see him finally just having enough of it.
I wonder what kind of people would be giving him shit. Like making like channels and then reviewing his stuff and talking nothing but shit on him.
Well, I think part of his problem is that he feels like he's not given the proper due for the impact and influence he's had in the comics industry, which is 100%. Um, but I feel like if he didn't exist
Mm-hmm.
and would try to get hired or in the industry today, I don't know that anyone would ever look at him right now. He's just kind of like the right vibe and the right style at the right time.
Oh yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Like,
Um, but I don't know if he were to like to show up drawing the way he does now, would anybody ever hire him? I don't think so.
so you were saying he's kind of like a revolutionary at the time, but that people have surpassed him in the way that there's just much better artists out there.
Mark says Robert missed your joke, Jessica.
He
Jessica,
did. He did. It went right over his head. It's fine.
son of a bitch. What did you say? What did I
I
miss?
was making a comment about how he might, be sick and tired of people talking shit on him on their YouTube channel,
Oh, right. Okay.
doing stuff, and you were just kind of like,
Blah blah blah. You're right. I do remember you saying something to that effect, but I was so wrapped up in my myself thinking, I'm like, I've got such an interesting point I got to make here.
yeah, I had to mansplain though what
Right? Thank you.
I. But I'm glad that Mark's picked up on it.
He
So
got it. He's like, I'm listening to you. Rob sucks.
that's so funny. Hmm. Oh boy. I'm probably gonna jump off here soon.
Yeah, we've been going a good stretch. I'm glad we got to do this. We didn't get to do one last week because of Thanksgiving, and we had plans to do one on Monday, but I had just a really rough day at work, and I was like, I don't have the energy for it. I can't. I came home and basically went right to bed.
Yeah, I was a little bit concerned because you didn't say anything after you're like, I don't think I'm gonna make it today. And I was like,
Are you are you gonna are you gonna self delete? I'm like,
I
no.
honestly though, I was like, what's happening? Like
Oh, I was
not
just so tired. I was just like, I need to. I mean, not. I mean, people work harder jobs, but that day I did 10 hours straight without a single break at all. Just it was go go go, no sit down, no lunch, no nothing. Just And by the time I got home, I'm like, I
That was in preparation for, I'm sure like Black Friday and stuff. I'm sure like it was just crazy.
it's so somewhat, yeah. There was some stuff that got goofed up that I had to fix, and it just took all the time. So I was done. I had nothing left. So
Yeah.
I was like, so we missed a full week of doing this, and this is one of my favorite things to do. And I know, I don't need to tell you, but it's it's
Yeah.
relaxing, cathartic, and I enjoy doing this. So I'm actually going to miss it when you're going to be off, offline for a while, having a baby or whatever, go have a child.
Well, and to be fair, I really don't think I'll have to be gone super long. I mean, obviously you've got Courtney. That'd be fun to do some with Courtney too. So I mean,
Yeah,
whatever you want to do, and I will just hang back because I know we can't make the old threesome happen here. But
raising,
yeah, I know I did that on purpose.
right?
Uh, but but I really don't think I'll be out too long,
I know.
honestly. It's I'm supposed to be sitting down anyways. I will be doing the same exact stuff. So,
Well,
um,
we could do the trifecta thing on. We could do the Instagram thing again.
right on Instagram,
Yeah,
which
so,
works.
yeah,
But yeah, have fun doing that. I think that'll be really, really fun. And then I'll keep you obviously in the know. I'm sure you will be one of the people that find out when she's born pretty quickly. But yeah, we'll just go from there. Doesn't
yeah.
have to be anything.
I know I know it'll. These are a lot of fun. I really look forward to these,
Yeah,
and
me too. I do too. I really think they're fun.
conversations we have with people. Like tonight was a great conversation. There's all kinds of fun stuff going back and forth. We've got all our regulars,
Uh-huh.
you know,
Full air
Mark,
shot.
D-Man, someone saying Courtney, and then some new people always tend to show up. And as today, we had a freaking industry like veteran show up. Like that was awesome. So
Yeah, that's sweet.
these are a lot of fun. So I appreciate everyone that stops in. It really does mean a lot. It's a lot of fun, you guys.
Yep. If you didn't, it would just be Rob and I here chatting. Rob not getting my jokes,
Right.
talking shit on him whenever he says anything.
Right. Because I'm oblivious.
Because I'm oblivious. No, you're not. You just were making a point. You were on a roll with your point you were making.
Right. It's so much important stuff to say.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
But yeah, I should be here next week unless she happens to just, decide to show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Courtney, so much. Because sometimes you're not always on here, but we almost always look to see if you're on here.
Oh yeah. It's always like, is Courtney gonna be here? She's like an informal kind of part of the group. I like it. So
Yeah, it's fun. And I always think it's kind of cool to have another girl artist,
yeah.
female artist. I guess that's kind of the right terminology there.
Oh, whatever.
Um, but yeah, I should be able to do next week, and then the following week, I want to do it too, and it'll be the night before. So
Oh, really? Oh,
let's
that'll be interesting. Be like, hey, how you feeling? A little nervous? What are you gonna do tomorrow?
yeah, got any big plans? So
All right.
yeah, so it should be fun. But yeah, I'm gonna hop off here because it's almost been 2 hours. Not
Yeah,
quite.
I gotta go get me some dinner.
Well, you had potato chips.
Yeah, I'm really stopped touching those after Chuck was like, yeah, I got ribs and corn and shit.
I know. I was like, mm. But yeah, we'll be here next Thursday. And honestly, If there's another night you want to try to do one ever, just spontaneously, just let me know because I've been pretty much just on bed rest. So I just sit the entire time. I can't really do much otherwise.
Yeah.
I can't go very many places or anything. Usually my family goes out and does stuff, and then I just stay here.
Well,
So
I
let me
am
know.
off work all next week, so we could bang out a bunch of these
What?
too.
Motherfucker, how'd you get off work again for a
I
whole month?
get 4 weeks of vacation, and I save up. So before, like, you start out with 1 week of vacation, then I get two, then I get three, and you have to be there a long time. You have to be there 15 years to get 4 weeks. But I always save a bunch of time at the end of the year to cash out for Christmas. Now I saved 7, or rather 5 days of vacation time to cash out. But there's like a new district bitch in charge who's like, nope, you can't cash out vacation time. And if you don't use it up, it just goes away. It vanishes, it's gone. So I was forced to take vacation time. Now I know, boohoo, poor me, but I just took the vacation like a month ago, and a month before that, and a month before that. I don't need another vacation, but I've got 40 hours to burn up. And if I don't, it just goes away. So I'm like, well, fuck, I guess I'm taking another week off work. So I am off for 9 days. Tomorrow's my last day for 9 days. So we could, honestly, plan out anytime, really.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
Down like a clown, Charlie Brown.
I know. Exactly. Exactly like that, what you just said.
You have no idea what I'm referring to. All right. Well, let me see. Let me double check. Yeah, Mark Domowitz. She's like the Tom Sholey of the group. I 100% get that reference. I get it. That's awesome. I like that.
I don't.
There's a channel on YouTube with two professional creators that are talking. They have a third guy who's a close friend of theirs that will show up on occasion to,
Oh,
guest host or join in. So
there you go.
that's what it is. All right. Yeah. Hey guys, thanks everyone for stopping in.
Yes, awesome. Everyone have a good night.
Yep. Thanks guys. Catch you later.